Good morning, gang. Good morning, gang. My name is Mr. Canton, and welcome to Global Studies. Today is not only the first day of school, it's not only the first day of 8th grade, but if you think about it, it is the first day of your last middle school year. Your last first day at middle school. Think about that. Remember it. Look around. Breathe it in. Soak it in. Enjoy it. Savor it, because this is the beginning of the end of your middle school careers. It's maybe not quite what we were all envisioning when we thought this year would start, or maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not in your head. I'm not in your brain. Thank goodness for that. You're not in mine either. But anyway, I just want you to know that I am just absolutely thrilled, excited, stoked to be starting another school year. I absolutely cannot wait to get going. We're going to get to know each other this year. There's a lot to go through today, so I'm just going to jump in. But first, you might be wondering, who is this guy talking to me? Well, again, my name is Mr. Canton. This is Global Studies. A few quick things you should know about me. First of all, I can be a little bit goofy at times, which I think is a good thing. Sometimes I can be sarcastic, which may or may not be a good thing. But I want you to know that I am incredibly passionate about teaching, about learning, and about education, about learning about the world. And my hope for you is that some of that passion rubs off on you, and that by the end of all of this year, that you've learned a little bit from me as well. Anyway, so over the next 9 months, I look forward to kind of devoting a good deal of my time getting to know you as a person first and a student second. And really, ultimately, that's what it's all about for me, getting to know you as a person, as an individual, as a human being, because that is what you are. That is my primary goal, right? My primary goal is to help you feel safe, to feel welcome, to be successful. Okay, school is important, don't get me wrong, but first and foremost, I care about you as an individual. So if at any point, whether it is today or 170 some odd days or hundreds and thousands of days down the road from here, if there's anything I can do to help you out, if there's anything I can do to make your life a little bit better, or to support you, please let me know. I will do my best to figure that out on my own and try and support you without you asking, but I really do need you to kind of help me with that as well. So like I said, I'm a geek. I'm a little bit geeky. I'm a big-time social studies geek, and I absolutely love what I do. And so you might be wondering, okay, my schedule says geography. He keeps talking about global studies. I get that it's a social studies class, but what exactly are we going to learn about? Well, it is a global studies class, so we are going to learn about the globe, which isn't very helpful because the world is a big place, but really that is what we are going to attempt to learn about. It's a study of the world and all that it has to offer. This year we are going to explore, talk, and learn about the world that we all live in. This is going to be challenging at times because, newsflash, we live in a challenging world, right? We're going to spend a lot of time talking about and exploring culture, religion, government, economics, the people around the world, and how all of these factors impact people's lives and communities. What is our role in this big local and global community? And how do we all just kind of intermesh together? We're going to tackle all of that this year, believe it or not. Like I said, we're going to discuss some of kind of life's big, meaty questions, like what type of governmental system is the best, the ways that people and the environment impact one another, our impact on the environment's impact on us, and how that impacts us all around the world. Exploring how where you live impacts how you live. Think about that for a second, right? Just stop and think about that. You live somewhere right around here in STMA, and think about how just kind of virtue of where you live impacts how you live. It has a big impact. If you live somewhere else, your life quite likely would be very different. And I'm not just talking about like, oh, if you lived like up north on the Iron Range or out, kind of, down in southwestern Minnesota. I'm talking about, what if you woke up this morning and you lived in Belize, or you lived in Indonesia, or you lived in Norway, right? Where you live impacts how you live. And so we're going to tackle that as well. And I also want you to know that as you move forward in your lives, and this is one of the things that I love about teaching 8th graders, you all are young adults, right? You're getting to that point where you've got a lot of opinions about the world and the way it should be. Welcome to the club. So do I. But I really love that about 8th graders. You're starting to think, you're starting to see the world, and you're starting to think, I've got some ideas about how the world ought to be. And so having a good awareness of your world, having a good, strong global awareness is incredibly important, right? I live with you all in this world. You live with me. I want us all to be informed and thoughtful and critical thinkers. And so we are going to regularly tackle local and global topics and stories that are messy. Remember, we live in a messy world, and these issues, they might not always have a clear right or a wrong because they're challenging. We live in a challenging world, and it's good to be challenged, right? It's good to be challenged as we learn and as we seek to understand. We seek to understand our role in the world and how we can impact it. If you're sitting there and you're going, okay, gotcha, I'm with you so far, but what is you, Mr. Canton, what is your role in all of this? Are you going to stand in front of the room and tell me like what I need to think? Absolutely not, right? My role in these conversations is not to tell you what to believe, or not necessarily to tell you that my perspective is the right and true perspective. Believe me, I have a lot of strong thoughts about the world, but my job is not to teach you necessarily about that, but my job is to basically open your mind, to help you to understand, to challenge you to think critically, to challenge you to take on different perspectives, to think about things in a new way that maybe you haven't thought about before, and to teach you how to handle disagreement in a productive way. It's good to disagree, right? If we all thought the same and believed the same, well then what fun would that be, right? It's good to have some of those disagreements and those types of conversations. Anyway, there is so much more I could tell you about. I could tell you about my 2-year-old daughter Nora and my wife Emily, who are at home, our little pup Bodie. I can tell you all about that. I can tell you about how I love to camp and cook and spend time in my hammock, how I love to run, but we're going to save all of that for later. So what I really want to do right now is talk about kind of enough of that background in that intro, but I want to talk about our 4 big expectations we have for this year. I've got 4 big expectations, and that's it. Now, if we were normally in my classroom, you would see them plastered to the front of the room. Believe me, they are up there. But here's the 4 things that I want all of us to do this year, and I've come to find that if we can do these 4 things, we're going to have a pretty righteous time. Expectation number 1, everyone participates. Whether you at home, which you all will be at various points throughout this year, or you're in the classroom, you need to get engaged, you need to get involved. If you just simply sit there passively like that, sorry about the up nose shot, but if you just sit there, just think how boring that would be. Get involved, get engaged. That doesn't mean every single day you need to be raising your hand and participating left and right. That doesn't mean you always need to be putting yourself on the spot, but you gotta get involved mentally, physically. You gotta get involved with the class, okay? It's gonna be much better. Trust me on this one. So everyone participates. That's expectation number 1. Expectation number 2, own it. You're going to make some mistakes this year. I'm going to make some mistakes this year. We all will. The key to making mistakes is own it, right? Own those mistakes. Step up. Accept responsibility for your actions. Own those mistakes. Y'all are young adults. You expect to be treated as young adults. I plan on treating you as young adults, but part of being, young adulting is owning your behavior. So make sure you own it. 3rd thing, be kind. And I know you're like, okay, what is this, like kindergarten? Like now we're back in elementary school. We're all stuck in the same room all day. We're not changing classes and no walkers. Now he's talking about kindness. Yeah, but here's the deal with kindness, gang. Kindness is not simply opening the door for someone. Kindness is not simply saying please and thank you. Kindness is not simply, smiling at someone or, trying to not rock the boat when someone does something or says something. You're like, ooh, what they just did there wasn't real nice or was kind of maybe unkind, but I don't want to be unkind, so I'm not going to speak up. No, gang. Kindness is so much more than kind actions, right? Kind actions are great. Don't get me wrong. We should be doing all of those kind things, right? But we also need to kind of make sure that the world that we create for ourselves and the classroom environment that we create for ourselves is one that is equitable for all of us, that is kind for all of us. And so with that, you just need to know that it's important when you see or hear or encounter things that are unkind. Speak up, speak out, treat all with care, right? Stand up for one another, because that is what kindness is all about. And we'll dive more into that later. later. And then lastly, the fourth expectation so far, we have everyone participates, own it, be kind. And our fourth one, be bold. What is boldness, you might wonder? Well, boldness, it's kind of a way of, it's like courage, right? Boldness is saying you're going to take some risks. You're going to embrace some challenges. Basically, being bold means that you are going to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You're going to put yourself out there on occasion. You're going to step outside, you're going to reach, and you're going to grow, because when you step outside of that zone of comfort, when you get comfortable being uncomfortable, that's when that growth happens. So those are my big four expectations that I have for all of us. I have them for you. I hope you have them for me. Everyone participates, own it, be kind, and be bold. That's a lot of kind of intro and background, but we're not all here today, so I wanted to make sure to kind of cram everything in so we're all kind of on the same page when we get things started for today. Now that we've got all of that on or out there, let's get ready for the learning. All right, so here's what you're going to need to be doing for today. You've got kind of two tasks here, kind of laying the foundation for a successful year. Task one, there's a bunch of tech tools like Quizlet, quizzes, things like that. A bunch of tech tools that I want you to get enrolled in. There's a bunch of links there, so please follow those links and complete the tasks there. That's kind of the first part. It should be pretty easy. Any website that I'm asking you to sign up for today, please use your school Google account, your @mystma.org account. Please make sure to use that to enroll and join all of these things. It'll make everyone's life a lot easier. The other task that I want you to do today, there's a little Padlet. I'm pretty sure you used that last year, and on that Padlet, I basically want you to write a question or three. What are you wondering about 8th grade? About social studies, about me, about the world? Just pose a question or two and jot them out there on the Padlet, and we'll try and tackle those questions as we go throughout this week and next. So just come up with some questions. I'm an open book, so just fire away with those questions and I'll answer them as we go. And then your other task is a survey. This survey is somewhat anonymous. I'll read your answers, obviously, as well as your teammate teachers, but your classmates will not. Please take the time to be as thorough and as complete as you can with this survey. It will help me get a jump start on getting to know you. Some of the questions are a little goofy, #GrayIceCream, you'll see that in a second, and some of them are a little bit more serious, but please take the time to answer the questions as best as you can. They will help me, like I said, get a jump start at getting to know you, which is really my primary goal. And so that's it for today. Getting enrolled in some kind of technology websites, quizzes, Quizlet, things like that. Posing a couple of questions on Padlet, just things that you're wondering. And then lastly, a little survey that I can use to get to know you a little bit better. That's what we got for today. I hope it's a nice first day for you. I can't wait to get to meet you all. I can't wait to learn with you all this year. And I hope that you have an excellent first day. Remember, be bold, be kind, and make good choices. See ya.